Well, we didn't have confirmed cases in 138 counties out of 159.
Wow.
Evening.
Good evening.
I'm Martha. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Good evening.
Thank you for your patience. We did have a little technical difficulty. We are streaming live on the Facebook now, and we'll post this video also to the website once it's translated. We'll say welcome and thank you for taking the time to participate in this historic meeting of the Oconee County Board of Commissioners. Tonight, March 31st, 2020, is our first live stream event. All social distancing protocols are active as confirmed by a tape measure, and we are limiting the occupancy of this room to 10 people. The agenda for tonight was reduced down to just general business items, reports from committees, proposed ordinance changes, and proclamations were removed. No item for tonight will go on a consent agenda to allow citizens an opportunity to provide comment prior to our meeting next week. You may send your comments to County Clerk Kathy Hayes, and her email address is khayes@oconee.ga.us. Kathy will make sure that all the commissioners get a copy of your comments. We're also working on a public comment form that will be on the website for future meetings, including our upcoming town hall meeting. We have two items on the agenda tonight that will be discussed and considered, and this is based on time constraints that are in place so we can get the best value for our taxpayers. However, if you remember from our March 3rd meeting, the bond refinancing was discussed at that time as a possibility coming down the road. You'll notice an empty seat at our table tonight. And that's why I'm reading, because I knew it's going to choke me up. That old fellow, we sure miss him. Commissioner Wilkes served for 25 of the last 35 years. He was instrumental in bringing 911 service to Oconee County, and he loved the rural nature of our county. We joined the family in thanking the community for a moving show of safe support along the funeral route in the midst of this COVID-19 issue. Bubba Wilkes was just plain fun to be around and will be greatly missed. In just a moment, we'll ask you to stand for a moment of silence. We ask that you remember the Wilkes family at that time, and also take a moment to remember those on the front line of the COVID-19 attack. After the moment of silence, we'll ask Commissioner Chuck Horton to lead us in the pledge. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first item business tonight will be to approve the agenda. I do ask for one change. Earlier today, I signed the local emergency order number 2, and the order reads as follows. Whereas on March 26, 2020, the Oconee County issued a local emergency order number 1. And whereas since that date, President Donald Trump has extended the Slow the Spread campaign through April 30th, 2020. And whereas the local school systems throughout the state of Georgia will not reopen earlier than April 27th, 2020, pursuant to an order of Governor Brian Kemp. And whereas the conditions set out in local emergency number 1 have not improved, now therefore is hereby ordered that local emergency number 1 shall remain in force through April 26th at midnight. So what I'd ask is that we adjust the agenda for item number 1 under approval of resolutions, ordinances, and policies to ratify local emergency order number 1 and number 2.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted with changes.
Second.
A motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Any statements and remarks from citizens?
Not for me.
Commissioners? Yeah, you're good. Commissioners? We do want to say a big thank you to the citizens of Oconee County. Your support to follow COVID-19 guidelines and reaching out to help others, in my opinion, is unparalleled by other communities around us. To have substantial compliance speaks volumes to your care and your compassion toward our community. We appreciate our citizens taking the COVID-19 virus very seriously. For those of you who are not taking the COVID-19 serious, I want you to understand we are facing a very real, a very serious, and a very life-altering, and in some cases, life-taking virus. If you have any doubts, let us make it clear to you tonight, you should be staying at home. You should only be out and about for essential activities. Now, while most of you are following this guidance, I'm a little shocked at what some of you are calling essential. Also remember, grocery store is considered an essential business, but it still needs to be treated with caution and with distance, and not a social time. If you're healthy and not scared of anything, well, that's great. May the Lord bless you with compassion and concern for others. Your neighbors have children with respiratory issues. Your neighbors are watching a disease slowly take away a spouse and a father, wondering what COVID-19 will mean for their family. Just because you can do something doesn't mean that you should. The COVID-19 virus will also have an economic impact to our community. The duration and the size of this impact is unknown at this time. We project the Oconee County government will finish the current fiscal year with the ability to absorb any lost revenues that may come. And Oconee County will continue to be conservative in our current budgeting process to forecast revenues for next year. We currently provide and will continue to provide support to our fellow citizens in need, supporting such organizations as Department of Family and Children's Services, the Oconee County Health Department, Athens Behavioral Health, ACTS, Oconee Resource Council, and ESP. We're also exploring other community partnerships to help people that may be in need. Water Resources customers will not experience service interruption for non-payment. Occupational tax deadlines and penalties are waived through May 1st. Alcohol excise tax payments will be deferred to September 1st. Our Tourism and Visitors Bureau maintains an updated list of all local restaurants offering carryout, so you can support our local businesses. And we'll continue to seek other ways to ease the financial burden for our businesses and our citizens. We do appreciate you taking the time to reach out and share your thoughts and your concerns. Our goal is to get back with you within 24 hours. If you've not received a response and it's been over 24 hours, it means the system has failed and you should reach out to us again. Each communication is important to us, and believe it or not, we do take your comments into consideration on any issue you care enough about to reach out to us. Some of the more aggressive communications are difficult to process, but we still do process them. So ladies and gentlemen, this virus is serious. The next 2 months will contain uncertainty. The next 2 months will be a challenge to our community. But you are Oconee County. Oconee County is strong. And even with this challenge, our future is bright. So let's all pitch in and do the right thing. So we'll move now to approval of resolution, ordinances, and policies, and we'll go to number 1, which is ratification of local emergency number 1 and local emergency number 2. As of noon today, the Department of Public Health is reporting 14 COVID-19 cases in Oconee County. Statewide, 16,181 tests have been administered by commercial and state labs. Of the tests administered, 24%, or 3,817 of the tests were confirmed as COVID-19. In addition, today the state announced they would increase testing by 3,000 tests per day. So Oconee County takes the following factors into consideration as we make decisions. One is the known epidemiology of the virus, which means how it spreads and how long it lasts. The other is the size and density of our community, the local support and engagement of our citizens, and the vulnerable population size and character. We also take health care capacity into consideration, meaning our workforce, testing, the amount of available personal protection equipment, and our ICU capacity. We also take into account our public health capacity. Oconee County is receiving information from the CDC, Department of Public Health, Georgia Emergency Management Agency, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, local hospitals, state officials, and our local community. So based on the data we've been provided, we've implemented the following actions. So on March 13th, we had the cancellation of all Parks and Recs programs and facility rentals, closure of all gyms, closure of the senior center with increased meal deliveries. Oconee Library is also closed. We started pushing online different opportunities for people to pushing out on our website and channels, ways for people to work online with the county and to conduct business. On March 14th, a public health state of emergency was declared by the governor, which automatically placed Oconee County in a state of emergency per our emergency management ordinance. On March 16th, the General Assembly concurred with the governor's declaration, which we also continued with the closure of the Welcome Center, and the court systems also reduced their operations. 3/19, we upgraded the signage in the parks about social distancing, and that did not work, so on March 20th, we closed all athletic fields, all outdoor courts, playgrounds, and disc golf. And that was also the first day that we had a reported case of COVID-19 in Oconee County. On March 23rd, Governor Kemp announced an executive order and later signed that executive order at 5:58 at night. The next day, 3/24, we received the Department of Public Health COVID-19 guidance for restaurants and food service. On March 25th, we had a conference call with Gwinnett, Jackson, Barrow, and Walton counties in order to try to coordinate what our next steps were and try to keep them as close together as possible. On 3/26, we issued a local emergency order number 1, and Gwinnett, Barrow, and Walton also had issued a similar order by that time as well. And then today we issued emergency order number 2. So with that, we'll entertain a motion to ratify emergency orders number 1 and number 2.
So moved. Second.
A motion second, any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Each report we get of non-compliance with our local emergency order is investigated. The violator is contacted and the order is explained so we may gain compliance. Every model we look at clearly shows population-wide social distancing, case isolation, educational closures will significantly reduce the spread of COVID-19. We ask you to do your part with social distancing. On Sunday afternoon, we had a conference call with our local hospitals, and the thing that they wanted communicated from that conference call was that they are prepared for a surge. All hospital employees are staying on the job. Many employees in non-essential procedure areas are being cross-trained to work in other areas. On-site testing at both hospitals will reduce wait times and also save on the PPE concerns that are out there now. Options are available for additional beds if needed. Now, hospital employees are working long hours. They have the same stress that you do with the uncertainty of the next couple months, and the added stress of being working so close to the COVID-19 virus. So again, we ask you to do your part and stay home, except for the essential activities. Our next item is to discuss a resolution to participate in the update of the Northeast Georgia Regional Solid Waste Management Plan. Is that you, Justin, or is that me?
That's you.
That's you.
Okay, very good. So Oconee County participates through the Northeast Georgia Regional Commission with a Northeast Georgia Regional Waste Authority. So all the counties get together at least quarterly and talk about the different challenges with waste disposal and recycling. So the group has put forward an opportunity for us to update our solid waste management plan, and we would recommend approval of our ability to move forward with that. The cost of this will be, for Oconee County, will be $2,289. Any questions or comments on that? Thank you. Our next item will be discuss a resolution regarding the 2020 Community Development Block Grant. Application is submitted for the expansion of the senior center. Justin.
Can I interrupt?
Yes, sir.
I've just got a message from somebody saying that in case y'all weren't already aware, the broadcast over YouTube is only showing a black screen on both my laptop and my iPhone. Y'all.
Yes, it should be on Facebook.
It's on, we had to move it to Facebook, and I'd like to
Thank Diane for saving the live stream.
we've also received comments asking everybody to speak up.
Very
So.
good.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the conclusion of the CDBG block grant. This is part of the senior center for the expansion. We applied last year. We've applied again. This is the final piece of the puzzle. This is essentially the Board of Commissioners authorizing a resolution to transmit the resolution, the entire package, to the Department of Community Affairs for approval of the, or hopefully approval of the request, again, expansion of the senior center. The deadline was supposed to be tomorrow. As with many things, it has been pushed out a month. And so this is just discussion only and for vote next week.
Any questions for Justin on that? Thank you. Next item is discuss the bid award for the Southeast Pressure Zone improvements.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is one of several projects that was sort of en route when, before the pandemic started. This comes off the WASI plan, which is several years old. This is our water and sewer infrastructure plan. And what this essentially is, there's two parts to it. One is a pressure relief valve dealing with the Watkinsville area, and the other is a tank to help with the pressure zones. These were put out to bid. The aggregate is $2,475,000 for the elevated tank, and for the pressure relief valve is $615,687.54. These are both the low bids. I would point out that these are SPLOST funds that they would come out of. We're trying to be very mindful of the general fund, but SPLOST dollars are pre-programmed and earmarked for these specific uses. And this is something that will benefit the area around Watkinsville as far as the water pressure system.
Any questions for Justin on those items? Next item is the update on the fire station number 5 expansion. So that's just to let you know, we did have a bid opening today for the new bay, which is required to house the new engine, which is on order. Those bids have not been vetted fully yet, but we expect to have those before you next week before a vote on award of the expansion of the fire station number 5.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, we missed an item.
Excuse me.
Civic Center.
Yes. Discuss the bid award for the Civic Center project.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If you recall, at the previous meeting, we discussed the two proposals that we had, both scored very well, but Garland Construction was recommended for the top scoring firm since that time. We've been negotiating with them to do some value engineering, drive down the scope a little, get a little better value specific to the project. And so this is two parts of the project. One is an interior design renovation facelift of the Civic Center, and the second part is replacement of the HVAC components to it. And so the initial cost was close to 1.4 million. The submitted budget was about 1.2 from SPLOST funds. After further negotiation, the total cost would be $1,073,838, and then I would ask for $100,000 of owner contingency for some additional at the end, which would put a final costing at 1.173,838 for the overall project. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Garland's been great to work with as far as the value engineering component.
This is a SPOS project as well.
That is correct.
Any questions for Justin on that? No. Next item is discuss and consider a resolution authorizing the issuance of Oconee County taxable refunding general obligation bond. This is for our recreation project, Series 2020.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before I get into that, I just want to say, it's never going to be the same without Commissioner Wilkes here tonight. And in the military, we'd have like a missing man. We're missing a man up here tonight. And it's just, I just wanted to tell Gwen and the family, we love seeing you go out on the main street, and we waved at you as you went by, and we're so sorry. And Bubba was an employee-concentric guy and loved by everybody here. He's going to be tremendously missed. So, on with the business. As you know, there's a lot of things going on in the world today, and the stock market continues on. And so, as with all things, there are opportunities. So, we took an opportunity to refinance Oconee County's debt. So, I'm going to go through a couple of these. The first is the general obligation refunding bonds for the recreation park at Series 2011A. That coupon rate was 3.7%, and so we have locked a rate of 1.395. So the cost savings in interest of $722,000 for that project. The second bond issuance that we've negotiated to refinance is issued. The obligor is the board, and is issued through the IDA. So the Industrial Development Authority Revenue Bond Economic Development Project Series 2012. Coupon rate on that was 3.22%. New refunding yield 1.25%. The savings after issuance cost $676,000. So in just a matter of about 5 days, we've shaved off a total of interest of $1.4 million. So a lot of work went into this. First of all, I want to thank a few people. Andrew Tripp of Stiefel, that served as the placement agent. Jim Woodward, our bond counsel. The chairman, John Daniel, Administrator Justin. All of the board for their accessibility by phone and email during this time. There was a lot going on, but there were decisions that had to be made. Also, Daniel Haygood for legal review, and Rick Waller, chairman of the IDA. With that said, if there's any questions before I leave the podium, I'm going to turn it over to Daniel for a quick legal resolution on some things that you need to sign.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes.
We've been in the process of killing trees. A lot of paper. The first one of these that we need to approve the bond resolution on is the park bonds. And Wes went over those. The current outstanding principal balance on that is $7,640,000. We need a vote to approve the bond resolution. That includes within it the filing of the validation. It includes authorizing John to sign all the documents that need to be signed, and authorizes anything else that that comes up to be signed as it comes up. There are always things like trustee agreements and paying agreements and all the different little things that they'll require of us. So, need a resolution to approve the taxable refunding bond recreation project series 2020 in the amount of, whatever it was, I said $7,640,000.
I'll make the motion.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on this item? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries.
The second one is refinance of the Caterpillar debt. Very similar outstanding balance on that, $7,790,000. What you're doing in this is you are authorizing the Oconee County Industrial Development Authority to issue new bonds, and you're approving the execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the county and the IDA that says that the county will pay those bonds, not the IDA, which is exactly what it is now, just at a much better interest rate. So if we could have a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and second. Just an item to note, the favorable action on this item will facilitate a need for a call meeting of the IDA. The call meeting will take place here at the VLC chambers at 10 a.m. on Thursday. Notice of the meeting will be posted tomorrow morning if the requested motion is approved. Only constitutional members of the IDA will attend, along with appropriate staff. Keep participation to 10 or less. Proper social distancing where protocol will be followed, and the public will have access to the live stream either on Facebook, and we will have this other venue working as well.
I'll also mention the IDA has one other item on their agenda, which is the approval of the sales contract on a piece of property in Gateway.
Thank you. All right, so we have a motion second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, motion carries. Next item is discuss alcohol license modification for James Mill Country Club.
I'll let you take it since you're up there.
So, Jennings Mill inadvertently made a mistake. They had the alcohol license issued with, I don't remember the exact name of the company,
L&J Acquisitions LLC.
a Delaware corporation, or actually I think it was a Wyoming corporation. And then they turned around and actually bought it and are operating with a company that has the same name that's a Delaware company. Those are not the same legal entities. And when I talked to their lawyer, it turns out they don't even have exactly the same ownership. So the name is a red herring. These are two different entities, so they've got to go back. It's the same people in terms of registered agent and who's operating and all that kind of thing. But they've got to go through and modify their license. I think there's a $500 license fee. And they would appreciate the board approving that modification. I think it was a total inadvertent thing. When I talked to the attorney, he said, you know, if people would just talk to their attorneys before they do things, they wouldn't fall into these mistakes, but they did.
Chairman,
Yes,
let me
ma'am.
make one comment here. We have not received the check yet for the modification, but it has been placed in the mail, so we're just ready to get that.
Okay. Y'all have any questions on that change that we're coming up next week?
No.
No.
I do want to thank everybody again for your access, fellow board commissioners and the staff during this tough last couple of weeks. So we're working together really well, especially with constitutional officers. We're moving in lockstep with closing offices and communicating about what they're hearing from their constituents as well as from their state organizations. We do not have the need of an executive session. So, Commissioner Saxon.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. We are adjourned. Thank you.
John, what time do you want to meet up in the morning?
We do 9? 10?
9:30?
9:30, that's good. We got another meeting.
Have a good evening.
Take care of yourself. 6:40.
Take care.
Yeah.
Talked to him last week. He said that he had a close home.
Got last night.
Daughter. We're going to go and
Do you get to go home now?
Yes, ma'am.
So.
It's been a long few weeks, I guarantee you.
Weird.
Yes. How you holding up?
They showed up.
I'm an English teacher, I'm telling you. I'm running around trying to help other folks. So far, so good.
And the attorney said that they got.
I'm not hearing it, and, if there is any, I'm not hearing it. There are a lot of scared people out there, I know that.
Right.
I'm not.
Actually not legal tender.
We've talked about it.
So they,
But,
You too.
to a signature.
I think everybody's doing the best they can, you know. They don't like it, but,
Stuff like that. And they
you know,
certified
they're not,
that this was
they're not being
legitimate
ugly
gold.
about it.
Yeah.
But there sure are a lot of people
And
eating.
They got a
You know,
cashier
going through the
check.
drive-throughs, and Ace
Take
Hardware is
close.
busy, and Lowe's is busy, and Kroger is busy.
Okay, that's one of the most
So,
interesting closing
at least
stories I've ever
everybody's
heard.
eating.
I had
You
a
can't
closing-
make that up.
I had a closing one time, I probably told you about it, where
Oh, mercy.
Synovus
Oh,
was buying, Athens First was buying
Yes,
the
sir.
property from these guys from Miami. And Mike Morris called me up, and he said, and they paid like $30,000 for it, we're selling it for $200, because it was Atlanta Highway.
Yep.
And Mike Morris called me up, he said, Daniel, they want cash.
Thank you very
And
much.
I said, they want what? So we had to get an armored truck, you don't have that much cash in town. So, we had them up at the office, and, everybody sitting around the table had the same thought, and the guy said, well, in Miami, we do deals like this for cash all the time, and we all thought, yeah, but that's cocaine, and this is real estate. And you know what? About a year later, I picked up the newspaper, and their local fixer, the guy that came to the closing with us, got busted for being, head of a local cocaine distribution ring.
You know, Y2K.
A guy named Jerry Lewis,
was
you remember
more
him?
a scary thing for everybody.
I will say this.
And we made it through it
Police
just fine,
too.
so we're gonna make it through this, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I don't mean it's trivial,
The
but,
one guy told me, he said,
We're
we're strong. He wasn't
We're
in
strong.
back in those days.
yeah, we're gonna lose
You know,
people, but we lost them to the flu too, you know?
A lot more there.
And nobody gets panicked
If it
about
was
flu.
one where everybody got
You
it.
gotta be serious about it.
And
I don't know.
on the beach.
It's an education.
Just unfortunate.
And I'm hoping
crazy
that
stuff,
people
but-
Yeah.
stuck at
Anything
home
that came out.
might actually pick
Don't
up
know.
a book
Yeah.
and
Y'all be
read
good.
it. You know what I mean?
I do.
And might pick up the book. It's possible.
Exactly.
Because if so, this will be great.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
It's always good it comes out of that. You have a good evening.
All right, thank you, sir. You too.
Have a good evening, of course. I think it went pretty well for our first time here. So excellent, and we had some pretty positive comments too. I think people appreciate that. Well, have a lovely evening. We'll see you. You got everything you need, Miss Sarah?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome.
And you?
Yes. Do you like our shouting from across the room for our safety?
You know the answer to that. Are you the captain? You gotta go down with the ship?
Yes.
You're the last one to leave?
Yes. I'm not the first one here though, so I won't take that trip.
Okay, I was the first one in the room,
Awesome.
which was, it was,
Eerie.
no, it was moving to see those flowers sitting there kind of with a little spotlight on them, you know, and
Yeah,
that
that's what I was
was
telling
all it
Martin,
was-
that joker got the last
it
laugh,
was
he got me
quiet.
choked up at the meet.
Yeah.
He's laughing his head off right now. Now you ain't come this way?
Oh, I'm gonna go out this way. I'm gonna wait, make sure Sarah's got everything.
Get it out. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Of course, thanks for coming.
care.
I'm glad you can make it out. Have a lovely evening. You're welcome. You're welcome. Glad we can make it all happen. I didn't get too close to you.
Yeah, if